GF Strong.
Okay, and so yeah, I guess first just take us back to January 9th. You were skiing at Silver Star. What was happening before this accident?
Yeah, I've skied my whole life since I was 5, so now we've got 3 children and they all ski, and so one of our friends was there with his daughter who's friends with my daughter, and so we split up. Myself and my daughter, my friend and his kids went off to do a couple of runs together. So that's what was happening before. And then you'd like me to tell this story what happened?
Yeah, just explain what happened.
So we had skied partway down a run, and we were just stopped, all of us, to look at kind of where we were heading. You know, when you're skiing in a group, you want to kind of all head the same direction. So we were sort of saying, he was saying, yeah, let's head down to there, and then we'll meet at the bottom. And I said, great. And so just as I was about to start, I was the first one to go. I just put my right pole in at a funny angle and somehow sort of tripped myself, for lack of a better word. So I was not actively skiing in that moment. At my right pole, I tripped, I sat backwards, and when you fall skiing, typically if you're skiing, your gear comes off, but because I just sat backwards, sort of slowly and gently and elegantly, my gear didn't come off. So I was sitting with my skis uphill and my poles hooked onto my wrists, started to slide down. And so in that moment, I first tried to get my skis off and then realized I wasn't going to be able to do that. So I started to swing my skis, trying to get them below me to dig in, because usually you fall, your ski comes off, you dig your boot in, you stop, right? So, but I wasn't able to do it. My daughter was skiing behind me, and she said, Mom, I saw you almost get up, but then once I wasn't able to get up, I probably spun back around again, and I just lost control. So in that, it all happened very, very quickly, and in that moment, I realized I had no control. I started to try to get my pole straps off, like just get my arms out so that, and my skis, but I couldn't get them off. So I don't know how many seconds it would have been, but basically I just took some deep breaths, knowing that really this was out of my control and my life was essentially in God's hands. I didn't really have all those thoughts go through my head, just deep breaths, and then bam, white, and then my eyes were open, looking at my friend and feeling like I was really me, other than I had good left arm movement, good brain function, but no feeling in the lower part of my body.
So you had been sliding down the run through this point?
Yes, so my eyes were closed. It was sort of an open run, and I hit the chairlift pole that was covered with the mat.
Yeah, so I was skiing that day at Silver Star, and I was.
No way!
I saw you.
You didn't.
I was on the chairlift, and were you on the run that was right under the chairlift on the backside of the hill?
You were on the chairlift?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I guess you were really wondering what was happening.
Okay, yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you slid down and hit the pole there.
I did.
On the run.
So they tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So were you conscious through this whole thing? Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember. My daughter said she called my name right after, and I didn't answer. So I think I was unconscious for a very short period, but when I opened my eyes, it felt like pretty much right away to me. After I felt that kind of collision point. Yeah, and so then I heard my daughter, because obviously I was concerned because I knew she was there, so I could hear her crying, and I just said, I'm not going to say her name, but I called her name and said, honey, stay with my friend, stay with this dad, and go and find your daddy, and I'm okay. I wanted her to know I was okay. So then when the ski patrol came quickly, as you saw, I guess, going over me, they came quickly, and then I was skied to the bottom and helied out.
they took you to the hospital at that point, I guess?
I was helicoptered to Kelowna, and then I think I fell at about 2, and then I was at Kelowna and flew out to VGH at around, I got in there sort of late at night, about 10 or 11. I was in Emerge there, and then I was operated on by a wonderful surgeon the next morning at 6 or 7.
Yeah, and so what originally when you first came to hospital, what did they tell you about the injuries you'd sustained in this incident?
Well, nothing much other than, no, they did tell me when I got to VGH that I had, it's all a little bit fun because I know now what it is, but then I think they basically said that I had a spinal cord injury of some sort, and that what they weren't guaranteeing that the surgery would reverse the injury completely, that I needed to know that it would stabilize only. And so I remember sort of saying, okay, I understand what you're saying, but I believe in miracles, that kind of thing. So I was kind of just, I think my reaction initially was just gratefulness and hope for what I did have. And so I signed the form that luckily I have, my dominant arm is pretty good, so I was able to sign their form, and then basically it was just an overnight kind of groggy pain control, and then I was in surgery, so I was so fortunate that way. It wasn't too long.
Okay, and so, how did the surgery go, or was that able to make some improvements, or what happened there?
Yes, the surgery went well, as can be expected, and I'm learning a lot about spinal cord injuries, so it went as well as could be expected, and my healing process will be long, and there's some certainty and a lot of uncertainty about what will happen, but I have very good function kind of chest up, and I have some sensation below that, and really it's hard to say where that will go. The doctors have told me that their hope for me in being at GF Strong is that I would be able to be in a manual wheelchair and be fully independent in the sense of transferring myself, and that I do have an injury to my right arm, and so it's waving at you, and it's chicken winging, and I can do a few things, and it's coming along, and I'm willing it. Lots of people are praying for me for its improvement, and have a lot of practical help to move it along, but there's some uncertainty there, more tests to be done.
Yeah, so I guess just so I'm clear, maybe just describe what were the injuries that you suffered in this incident?
I broke my spinal column, mainly at the T6 level. I broke my collarbone on the right side. I have a brachial plexus injury. The list is a little bit long. Mild concussion, and some internal things that have resolved. So that's kind of the short list. I did have a broken bone in my neck, but nothing that was that consequential. So the main injury is the spinal cord injury.
And so then the result of that is that you were unable to, I guess, move your legs, and that you have limited movement in the one arm.
Correct. Well, the spinal cord injury only impacts my body below, so the arm limitation is from my brachial plexus injury. It's a nerve bundle here.
Okay.
So it is in healing mode, and they have to wait till the swelling goes down to test it a little more and see how the nerves will innervate. But a lot of my muscles in the right arm are firing, they're just weak.
And so what are doctors telling you about your recovery and your rehabilitation going forward?
Well, I'll be at GF Strong for a number of months, possibly at least 3 and possibly longer. And what they do is there's a team that will come together in the next couple weeks and talk to me and my family about how I'm doing and what they're projecting at that point. So it's early days for me, but it'll be a lengthy process. As soon as possible, I'll get home, that's for sure. I'm telling my children, I'm coming home every day, I'm getting better, and I'm working my way home, that's why I'm here, so.
And so, do you expect to have better use of your arm that's impacted, or what do you expect?
I do expect to have better use of my arm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And have they told you anything about use of your legs in the future, or whether that might be able to be recovered from at all?
I think that the spinal cord injuries, there's some certainties and there's a lot of uncertainties. So, like I think I said before, they're hoping for me to be in at least a manual wheelchair, and the other what ifs will develop as they do. But medically, that's what they're saying: full independence in a manual wheelchair at this point. And I think the rest is perhaps a mystery, and we can pray for the other possibilities.
And so it sounds like this is just a really fluke accident that occurred.
It is. It is.
What, skiing, obviously inherently there's risk to it, but what would you say to people? A lot of people ski and they're seeing this in, a really challenging situation for you. What would you say to other skiers about this incident?
I would say rip it up. I love skiing so much. This is really nothing to do with, I happen to have skis strapped to my feet, so this is an accident in the pure sense of the word accident. And I think that, I can be, for myself, I can be grateful for what I have, that, it could have been a life-ending injury, and I'm alive, and I'm going to be the best that I can be, and that's, I would say to you, rip it up, enjoy that beautiful mountain. It's a wonderful place to be.
I was hoping maybe to be out there in a sit ski at some point.
You never know, you might, I'm not sure. Yes, I always like to go fast, not in this accident way, but that might have been the fastest I've ever gone. But I will be out there again to some capacity, you can bet. Yeah.
And really a lot of community interest in your
yes.
Recovery, and people kind of rallying around you to support you. What do you think about the community support that you guys have received?
I've been totally overwhelmed. I'm so grateful to everybody for all the support. I have an amazing community, and I've been absolutely floored by the amount of messages I've received, and so many different ways that people are supporting me from afar, and my family extended. I'm so grateful and humbled, honestly, by the multiple different ways that people have supported us. And I've encouraged people to really, that I so appreciate it, and yet I also want them to support those people around them. But despite those encouragements, I've just been completely blessed in so many ways, and including my family. So what an amazing gift having a community is. I can't even explain it to you. Yeah.
This is all happening during a pandemic as well. Has that impacted your ability to have family visits through this time, or are you still able to do that even though the pandemic?
It has impacted my ability to some extent, but my daughters have been down to visit twice, and I've gotten to see them, and we've made the best of it. And I think we understand that it is a pandemic, and so we're working within the restrictions to also maintain our emotional connection in kind of a traumatic time for us. So just balancing off those things, and I've found the hospitals to be really understanding and work with me on that.
Anything else you want to add or want people to know about this situation?
I think thank you for the opportunity to talk, and just my absolute gratefulness to everyone for all the support. It's hard to even manage it, that it comes in a time like this, but I also feel very much myself, as weird as that sounds, and I I will live on in this new chapter, and I'm so grateful for people's help, and it's humbling to accept it when you've kind of been I've been a really independent gal for my life, and so it's, I guess, really humbling to be on the receiving end, maybe harder even than to give, but I'm trying to do that in the best way I can. So just my thanks to everybody, and just keep pressing on and know that I'm getting better every day.
I really appreciate you speaking with me about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm probably gonna put this on the news on Sunday, and I'll maybe just I'll probably need some pictures, but I'll just talk to Sandy about that if there's some, like, pictures.
You mean photos of? Yeah, you can ask him for
photos,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just chat with him about what might be available for that.
Sure.
Well, thank you, and I'll let you get back to your day.
Thanks a lot, Megan. I appreciate your time. Take care.